I'm not sure why I'm making that sound, but I am. My green screen's not up because I can't be asked. It'll go up in a minute, maybe. Who knows? Hope you're all doing well. You can see behind me at hundreds of Indomitus boxes from 40k, and this is where I work. It's a absolute shit tip currently. Pardon my French. If you're watching with your family, why do you watch me with your family? I don't know, but maybe there's nothing on TV. Maybe you're like, Daddy, why is there a potato on YouTube? Or something like that, I don't know. That potato knows a reasonable amount about Star Citizen. That's what you need to tell your child, or whoever that was, in my weird... Right, Merry Christmas! Ho, 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 ho! I hope everyone is doing well. I hope you had a great Christmas day, or at least not a terrible one. I know some people are gonna have been genuinely lonely on Christmas, and I'm very, very sorry that's the case for some people. We live in interesting times. Other people, like myself, would have been like, I wish it was quieter for me. I did Christmas dinner, cooked this Christmas dinner for my family. The turkey was a little dry, unfortunately. My mother has food-based anxiety, where she demands for it to be massively overly cooked, the food. So we had to cook the turkey for half an hour longer than was intended. But next time I cook something like Christmas dinner, what I'm going to do is I'm going to halve the turkey and go, well, this is actually correctly done, and people can enjoy that. If you want it more done, I'll do your bit more. I'm not bitter about it. I am a chef, this you see, and I see it as ruining food when you overcook something, quite genuinely. And I can't help that. I love my mother, and I respect her wishes. It still annoys me. But other than slightly dry turkey, it was pretty good. We had beef Wellington, we had turkey. I did a Madeira sauce for the beef Wellington. I did full trimmings with the turkey. It was a nice bronze turkey. Maybe even just a turkey crown for my mother next year might be actually a good shout. You get food tips from me, you see. If you'd like to ask any questions during the live stream, question in brackets. We're just going to go over what Christmas very briefly for me and general stuff like that as people trickle in for the stream. And then we've got a load to talk about for 2021 for some of the stuff that we know is going to be, well, that's planned to be worked on for 2021. Zin is currently doing a video of a deeper look at Q2, Q3 and Q4 of the roadmap. I've done a breakdown of what CIG have been working on, what they plan to work on from those new roadmaps. And we've obviously had the letter from the chairman, which was a huge sort of like, oh my god, we've had loads of money coming in this year, and that's because of new players, and we're trying to make a playable game, and Star Citizen is going to be more and more playable, and sort of Chris frothing about how much he loves what he's been able to do with the game over the last year, and what he's seen his vision as. So we can talk a bit about that letter. And we've had the 2019 financials, which have shown CIG grow a huge amount, but obviously spend a larger amount as well. So I think they spent around 10 million more than they made last year. However, this year in 2020, they've made a ridiculous amount of money and sort of dwarfing other years by a huge margin. I mean, it's the combined amount of multiple years they've made this year. So it's pretty impressive. And it depends. Are they spending a huge amount more this year than they were the previous years? Well, that's sort of fine as long as they're going to produce a game in the next 3 years. Actually release Squadron 42. Actually have Star Citizen in a significantly playable state. Because they need that mainstream. They need that mainstream support from people going, you know what? Star Citizen's playable, not an alpha. Because playable and alpha, they are almost at odds with each other as terms from my point of view. Do you see what I mean? Like, playable, yeah, that's beta for me, or near beta. Alpha is hot at the lower end of playable, even if you're trying to make your product playable. Although that said, I really had I've had a load of fun with Star Citizen over the years. It's certainly got large playable portions. And Back for Blood that I played the other week, that was great. Not the best in the world, but pretty good. I think that Cyberpunk 2077 has bought Cloud Imperium a lot more time and a huge amount of potential arguments that people will make in the future of, well, we're not going to rush Star Citizen because look at Cyberpunk. Not that I believe that Cyberpunk is overly bad on the right platforms. On my PC, it plays pretty great. It's a genuinely great game. Really, really like it. It's not the best game in the world. It didn't live up to its hype, but I didn't expect it to. There's certainly a lot of improvements they could make to it, but should never have been sold on last-gen consoles. Cloud Imperium and Star Citizen doesn't have sort of like the similar issues with those consoles, because it's not planned to be released on consoles yet. There's a bike outside my house. It's not planned to be released on consoles, at least yet. Maybe they'll look at next-gen consoles in the future, like the next generation of PlayStations, PlayStation 6 and whatever new Xbox there is, because if they don't have to port it across in the same way, like if they don't have to make concessions for porting it across, then I can believe that they would consider porting it across to consoles, because why wouldn't you want to make more money? But yeah, so there's quite a lot that's happened over the last week or so. Obviously, there's a lot of disappointment when it comes to certain things. We had disappointment when it came to the Xenothreat set of missions, the new dynamic missions. So we've got dynamic events in-game, we've got dynamic missions in-game, we've got cool events that are going to be potentially exclusive to each major patch. And what do I mean by that? Well, it might be like every new major patch has a set of new events which are only available, or at least probably only available... sort of only available during that patch cycle. So 3.12, you got Xenothreat, you got these cool missions where you'll be fighting a big Xenothreat fleet and stuff. Now, what happens after 3.12? Well, there should be potentially a new set of exclusive missions, a new set of dynamic events that might be happening in 3.13, and those Xenothreat missions will sort of be phased out. But similar missions, or even very similar missions, might be put back in the future. And remember, they're still building Star Citizen up. So in the short to medium term, stuff's evolving and changing anyway. So I wouldn't be like, oh my god, I've missed out and it's really a shame. No, it gives you reasons to play and test out these events now and then give feedback on them. So don't see it as something like you might miss out on. See it as something that adds to gameplay and viability and testing of the game. It's the same with everything else, really. It just gives you more reasons to play Star Citizen in the shorter term. That's the way I see it. This is a nice hoodie. This isn't a shirt. This is one of the official Star Citizen hoodies. Which is probably the only piece of clothing I've bought from Cloud Imperium that I like. Not I've bought that many, admittedly. But like the concierge hat was trash, in my opinion. I'm sure some people really like their concierge hat. They're like, no. So no, I thought it was a bit meh. And I'm bald. I need hats to cover up my head. Otherwise, the sun will roast me alive, and people will go, "Why are you bald? How old are you?" "Oh, I'm 35. You shouldn't be bald." "Oh, thanks." That's how that conversation goes in my head. Your sound quality is much improved. Well, I bought a new Audio-Technica 2020 mic. I was going to buy a much more expensive one, but DC and Kit, my mates, who I will be doing some videos with occasionally, both bought this microphone. And they went, it's really good. It's better than your Blue Yeti, by far, your Studio Blue Yeti. And I was like, okay, I'll grab one as well then. I've already got an interface for it. And now... thank you very much to Sarge. Sarge donates ridiculously huge amounts of money to BoredGamer because I think he wants to support the channel, and he's... I don't know why you are a legend and a scholar, sir, and it is genuinely super appreciated. But I don't feel like I give enough to the community or anyone to warrant the amount of donations and money and subs and stuff that I get. So it is genuinely appreciated. But I still never understand why. But yeah, he's donated a huge chunk of change on Christmas Day. I went, well, I'll give some of that to Zin. And I said, Zin, had a big amount donated. Do you want a little bit of money? She's like, oh, I'd quite like a a new microphone. I was like, oh, cool. And she was like, what one? It's like, well, the same one everyone else has got. It's like, okay, that's actually a really good idea. So thank you very much, Sarge. You have again allowed us to buy some more hardware. And it's the same with everyone that donates, to be honest. I should have probably changed the donation goal down there. So today, any donations will be going to hardware because me and Zin need more storage. So we need more hard drive storage because I am almost out of my 16 terabytes of storage that I've got for recorded Star Citizen content and other stuff. And we're obviously going to be needing a lot more in the future because me and Zin have planned a huge amount of gameplay that we want to do throughout 2021. And we're hoping like things like Theatres of War are going to be very playable and things like that. So we want to do more actual gameplay content, amongst other things. So that's what donation's going to go to for the next month or so, probably. So I'll update that that thing in a minute. But still planning to do the BoredGamer 2021 Bar Citizen event, but we'll work out when the end of the whole coronavirus stuff's gonna happen, so we can actually work it out in a bit more detail. So, what else is there to talk about? So I've got most of the bits of my PC ready to go. I'm waiting on a new cooler because I bought the wrong cooler. I'm getting a Kraken Z73 or Z63 cooler with a little LCD screen on it. Slightly more expensive than I would normally buy, but I want it for the cool effects. I've got basically I'm building my PC to be sort of like a little bit Star Citizen-y rather than Yorkie. And it's going to be relatively pretty build with a Ryzen 5000 series CPU, a 3080 GeForce, and I'm literally just waiting on those two components and my power supply at the moment. But I've got an old cooler which I might build and get it all set up with in the short term if those parts arrive. They may arrive before the end of the year or early January. So that's going to be very helpful. And then the hardware that I've currently got is going to get cannibalized and sent to Zin so that she can edit better, is the idea. So general upgrades for BoredGamer. And yeah. So I wanted to talk about some stuff for what's coming 2021, because we don't have the full roadmaps yet. But it looks like they're trying to push towards having server meshing and Pyro in for Q4 2021 at the moment. That's what it looks like according to the roadmaps. Obviously, that could very well get delayed and not be the case. There's a huge amount of content coming 2021. Let's have a quick look through questions first, though, if there are any. No, I'm not. I've just started the stream. Don't know how long I'll go on for today. I'm pretty tired from Christmas. I've been very, very sort of like abnormally shattered since I was ill the other week. I do suffer from sort of like bipolar and anxiety, so that sort of tires me out anyway. You want to see the elimination of 30Ks? Well, that would be beautiful. So, but that's never going to happen fully. They'll certainly have a significantly more stable product, though, from patch to patch is the idea. Some patches are going to be different. Oh, shit, son. City 028, thank you very much for a nice big donation. Happy holidays. Merry Christmas, happy holidays. Happy New Year. Thank you very much, sir. Oh, you star. So server meshing, everything working towards server meshing and the core of server meshing, yeah, I suppose it is better performance as well, because of everything that goes into server meshing and optimizations that are needed for the servers. But the server meshing itself isn't for better performance necessarily. I suppose it's for the ability for the game to be an MMO. There are buttons everywhere to donate, Jared, just below the stream. And you can click on buttons for donations and things if you want to. Just look at my happy face. That's my, oh, people want to donate face. Holy crap, son. You run a friendly local gaming store on your side, or you're a secret scalper? Not a scalper. Specifically not a scalper. So these are the second run of Indomitus box sets, which were buy to order, so you could order as many as you wanted. I've got friends that run local friendly gaming stores, and I've thought about doing it myself. What I do on the side at the moment is I do model splitting, so I will buy limited edition kits typically, or just Games Workshop kits for models, and split them, sell them on eBay as auctions. And they make about 20 to 30% profit on the packages just for providing them like that. And I just post them out when people buy them as quick as I can, as simply and as cheaply as possible. People seem to quite like that as a service. Jaredman92, thank you very much for subscribing. Very much appreciated. Oh my god. No, people don't... Okay, thank you very much. And I will happily accept your money and swim in it. DC, as in my editor's partner, is actually making me a money cannon. So it will fire money into my face when I get donated to. But people do not need to donate such ridiculous amounts of money. Thank you so much, though. Oh my god. Merry Christmas. Kalijah Anderson, $100. Love your videos, man. Keep up the great work. Appreciate it. Thank you so much. I wonder if we can work out at the end of the stream how many terabytes of data have been bought from donations. Endeavour must be 2 to 3 years out. Yeah, I feel that that's probably accurate. The Endeavour is a complex, large science ship. And there's a lot going on with that, and there's no reason, in my opinion, unless it's needed for Squadron 42, which I don't think it is, to have the Endeavour in the short term. Or even medium term. How long will the new update take to come out? What do you exactly mean by that? So we've got 4 major updates throughout the year. Mr. Mentalist. I can read names better. Mr. Mentalist, thank you very much for the donation. Keep up the good work. I'm not sure if it's good work, but it is certainly persistent work. I will continue to try and do videos every day for Star Citizen. There is always a huge amount to talk about, and I think even in the... So, as the game gets more and more released, there's more gameplay I can do, and there's going to be more and more news happening in the verse. So I think that one day we'll start to transition more over to what orgs are doing, what missions are going on, more guides and stuff like that as well, but also just general sort of like gameplay that's going on in the game. And yeah, the news from the verse. Like, there's going to be a huge amount of things that change daily. I'm really looking forward to Star Citizen. I've positioned myself to cover the game in a huge amount of detail, especially now with employing Sin, which has been entirely down to you guys that watch and have supported the channel for potentially years, or maybe some of you new, but the expansion of BoredGamer into actually potentially being able to do a lot more high quality videos over the next, well, we just started maybe arguably doing that recently. I mean, Zin's been learning how to edit, and we've been sort of like having me pretty lazy. I've been dealing with looking after my dad and generally being quite lazy and low effort, but we're now starting to push into a position where I'm talking to Zin about like how are we evolving the channel, what are we doing, what content's going to be our stable content. We need to start playing the game more, we need to start having gameplay, all this sort of stuff. So thank you so much for the support that everyone's provided. It is down literally to you. You should see my 40k pile of shame as well. Like, I've got a huge now knight arm. Well, I've got both a Cerestus knight army for 40k and a Adaptus Mechanicus cavalry army, which is half built. So I need to finish that and paint it. And I haven't even finished my Adaptus Titanicus stuff. That it's like 99% finished. I need to paint a couple of bits and finish off a Warlord Titan for that. But I will start showing that stuff on social media. I've got a really nice camera and lens now. for that. So, Yo Bored, do you think this new roadmap and all the things coming are because they want to treat this game as a release game? So, if you read into Chris Roberts' letter from the chairman, he is treating each major patch as something that they want the community to play and to consider playable. So, sort of, it is being considered and treated in some way as a released product. Because it is a released product in some way. It's an playable alpha product. But that is, yeah, I think that's pretty accurate. So, that's their monetization model. It's slow development, but it is playable major releases every quarter. While they're building Squadron 42. Slow development for Star Citizen. Will it produce a great game? Hopefully. I'm hoping it does. I'm sort of betting on it doing that. But will Star Citizen live up to its hype? I mean, I'll do a proper video on that at some point. But no. Star Citizen will never live up to its hype. It's too hyped. But it doesn't need to. It just needs to be very, very, very genuinely great as a game. And it needs to not disappoint. Like Cyberpunk sold on last-gen consoles. Disappointing. Yeah? Where in the socks is Crusader on the cards for 3.13? However, Horizon is on the progress tracker for Q2. The fuck? So, expect Horizon version 1 to include Crusader is what I would expect. And that looks like it's going to be for Q2 2021. However, it's possible that they might put the Gas Giant Crusader in for Q1 2021. And we'll see more bits on the card for 3.13. So they haven't put all the teams on the roadmaps yet. So there are core tech teams, there are downstream teams that aren't on there yet. So it's only around 20 teams out of the 50 that have been put on the roadmap at the moment. So bear that in mind. Do you think they will release the whole series as a whole or just up to the sea? Okay, so expect them to be released separately. There's work on the Hull A and Hull B shown on the roadmap, and I'm expecting the Hull C will be released as well throughout the year. Right now you're talking about Star Citizen not living up to its hype. Do you think Chris should stop hyping it all the damn time then? Okay, so Chris is talking about his dream and what he plans to do. Yeah? The hype comes from people interpreting that, people like me hyping it up, everyone else hyping it up, and having their own view of how the game's going to work and play. And largely, media in general is downplays Star Citizen by a huge amount. They basically say, rah! And not super positive. So it's not hype coming from them, it's hype coming from the community. And Chris as well, and the devs. Yeah, for sure. Because they're talking about what they plan and what they want to do. And then that is sort of like looked at in a way of fantasy and dream, and evolving out like, oh, that would be cool when it all works together like this. We don't know how it's all going to work. And it's not going to all work in your dream scenarios, or not my dream scenarios, and Star Citizen and Chris Roberts' dream scenarios. We know that. He knows that. But they're going to try and have the best game possible, and that's fine. It's just, obviously, a lot of people will look at it and go, well, but I wanted everything to be the highest level of dream. Do you know what I mean? I think it's fine for Chris to hype his game as long as he doesn't overtly lie about it. If he overtly goes, it's going to have these features, and knows it's not going to, well then, fuck you. Pardon my French. Sorry if people are watching with their families, children. But I think that's a fair thing to say, right? It's the Sean Murray thing of, No Man's Sky's got multiplayer at launch. No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't. That's a lie. That's a no truth. That's a bad truth. Do you know what I mean? It's suffering from severe feature creep. So, yeah, it's been hugely bloated by feature creep. But they've basically gone, look, the thing with feature creep is that when you're releasing a playable alpha every quarter and adding to the game. You are actually working towards that, and they are expanding their studios hugely at the same time. So you might see it as feature creep. They see it as studio expansion and scope expansion that they can actually keep up with. As long as they don't, as long as they don't have to release on a given day because of a publisher. Like, they don't have to release in 2023. They can release in 2026 if they wanted to. Do you know what I mean? Because that's the way their monetization model works. And the way they've designed the game. Like, they will be releasing updates, major updates, between now and then. They'll be releasing Squadron 42 between now and then. Although they don't have to, they should. they'd be massively criticised if they didn't, and rightly so. But they've positioned themselves, so this is how their project works. And you can certainly have criticisms of that, and you can certainly go, what? Come on. But that's how it works. It's done when it's done, and that's what Chris said in the letter from the chairman. That's what he said for years. And Star Citizen can genuinely be a great game. Can it be a great game delivered in a timely fashion? No, it's gonna take a long time. But they are gonna, as I said, they're gonna be delivering parts of that every major quarter. Actual definition of hype: extravagant or intense intensive publicity or promotion. Okay. So what I'd say is that Star Citizen does not spend a huge amount of their budget on publicity. They spend some of it more than they have previously, but it's still a tiny amount. Like, they haven't got these huge marketing budgets that, like, Call of Duty and stuff has, which spend potentially sometimes more than the development costs of their game on marketing. And maybe by the time Star Citizen's completed and they're producing, like, they've got Squadron 42 and they want to market it, maybe that'll change. And we'll look at that and we'll criticise that where possible. But do I think that, in that definition, Star Citizen's hyped? Well, it's certainly not publicity and promotion-wise. It's not overly hyped. But the way the devs talk about it, and the way that their internal sort of roadmaps and stuff, there is hype involved by a huge degree. And Chris Roberts, especially, and the devs that work on it, they talk about it being the best damn space sim ever. That's pretty hype as a statement. And that's fair enough. I want them to hype it. But it's what I'll be looking for and what I'll criticise more is overt lies. And people will be like, oh, they promised salvage here and they didn't. Well, I don't think that's the same. Getting a more sort of candid, chill BoredGamer today because I'm very tired. And it's Christmas. And we're talking about sort of like the end of 2020 and the beginning of, well, the roadmap for 2021. There's a huge amount of features on that. I'm just answering some questions first. You should do a group tour. We'll see Benny Henge, Necropolis, Snowman, Campfire, Teddy Bears, Picnic. That's actually not a bad idea. Yeah, Real Green Gecko. I'll talk to Sin about that. That's a good idea to actually do. Not sure if it's a video or it's a stream or whatever. That's a good laugh. Especially the grotto's been re-added to under Microtech, isn't it? So, okay. I had lots of yummy food, yeah, but my appetite's not been great since I've been ill. So I had like maybe a quarter-sized meal. Very, very nice Christmas dinner though. I very much enjoyed it. I'll probably have a little tiny bit more Christmas dinner in a bit. There's quite a bit of leftovers. Quick question: where are the hidden trading consoles for selling Slam that are planned for 3.12.0a? So you can sell Slam in some space stations, and I can't remember where. Is it in my notes? It's just a temporary thing. Sorry. Slam. It is the junk sites on Hurston. Junk sites on Hurston, you can sell Slam. With server-side order container streaming already implemented and iCache being spun up in 3.13. That's not true. Okay, so, and I'll explain why in a minute, Parks and Rec. What other networking milestones were listed before Cloud Imperium considers the game actually capable of full persistence and hosting thousands of users? It's past server meshing. So server meshing is essential for that, but there's more beyond that. So and we don't know how far out that's going to be. So server meshing looks like it's planned, static server meshing anyway, planned for Q4 2021 at the moment. That might not be accurate. We will know more a little bit later. There is work towards iCache in 3.13, and they're converting some legacy data over to iCache, but it's not the full iCache feature. That's coming a little bit later. 3.13, that patch. So we've got 3.12, which has just been released, the Q4 2020 patch. 3.13 is the Q1 2021 patch. That will be coming out at the end of March next year. I like Chris Roberts' extreme passion for the project, as it makes me feel that there's someone really dedicated to making this as good as it can be. I totally agree with that. He might be a little overly zealous when it comes to having everything done perfectly, and I think he had previously micromanaged people, which I now think he's actually given up largely to his lieutenants. So I think he's got some great higher-ups now. Whether or not it takes 2 decades or more, there are issues with it though, but it won't stop me from believing in it. It's better than having it rushed through development by a publisher like EA for it only to be garbage like No Man's Sky on release. Yes, I agree with you in some points of that. I mean, I don't want it to be 2 decades before Successor's released. I mean, and Chris had said previously, it's not, this stuff's not a decade away, it's years away, but not a decade. And to be fair for No Man's Sky did get a lot of love, a lot of attention after its poor release, and now I would consider No Man's Sky a genuinely great game. Yeah? And they put a load of effort into it. I hope you had a good Christmas, by the way, as it's difficult for people like me in the south while in Tier 4. Yes, but, so I'm in Tier 4 now. I was in Tier 2 up until today. So that it's just super lockdown, basically, in the UK. I was living my life locked down anyway since March. I've been out very rarely, just occasionally to like the post office, because obviously I'm looking after my dad and stuff like that. So it's possible that I had the new strain of COVID when I was ill the other week, although I didn't have any respiratory symptoms at all. So it's possible that I just had some sort of gastro flu as well. How long into 2021 will the new update come? So first major update, end of March. That's the plan. Hey Bored, new to the channel, Merry Christmas, and came here to tell you how much I've learned from you, and thank you for all. Keep doing what you're doing. Oh, appreciate it. Thank you very much, Mateus. Oh, you star. Thank you, sir. I totally agree. Star Citizen is absolutely playable right now, but it's not a sit-down and play game. It's not going to hold your attention for thousands of hours with progression. I need progression. I need reasons to play the game. And one of the things that does give me actually a lot of reasons to play is dynamic events. So I'm looking forward to that scene for that stuff. And I mean, playing for more than just a one-shot. That's sort of what I mean. But yeah, if you get the right organisation, you can do ops really regularly and have great fun for hundreds of hours. Yeah, for sure. I'm from Southampton, and I'm central south. I'm like almost as south as you can get without going to the Isle of Wight. It's weird seeing your background, I know. It's a trash heap at the moment. I apologise. What are your thoughts on not keeping up with their quarterly update briefing room videos after only giving one episode? Doesn't inspire much confidence. Well, okay, so it doesn't inspire much foresight. So they released this Squadron 42 episode thing. They'd made a briefing room episode previously, which they went, it's not good enough. So they made another one, and then they've gone, well, Squadron 42 is a while out, and we want to hype it when it's closer to release, and we can't keep on showing bits of Squadron 42 because then we don't have much hype for marketing and release. So what are we going to do? Well, we'll update the roadmaps regularly for Squadron 42, and we'll keep on doing the monthly reports. Now, is that exactly what I want? No, I want more, and I do probably think they can do some episodes without as many spoilers, but maybe they looked at it and went, it's a load of effort. and we have to be really careful, and maybe it's better just to show general development updates and Star Citizen's Persistent Universe updates. Like, I can understand where they're coming from. I think you can argue it both ways quite easily. There are certainly elements of Star Citizen that I wish they have thought about better before announcing. What are your thoughts? Oh, that's literally what I just talked about. I've been out of the game for a while. I've tried playing recently and flying the Carrack. I need to start this ship from one chair before I can pilot it from another. Is that about... No. You should be able to fly it from the forward left chair. Properly. No. You should be able to pilot it from the pilot seat. Let's put it that way. That should work. Is it not working at the moment? Are we still on Planetary Tech V4? So, Planetary Tech V4 is expected to be the final Planetary Tech, although they are evolving a lot of its elements. But it's that framework, Planet Tech V4, is they haven't got a Planet Tech V5 planned. At least not yet. And it looks like that will probably be the final one. But they are updating huge amounts of visuals and everything. And could you deem that V4 is just a name? Yeah, but... They're continuing to update Planetary Tech still, whatever version they call it. Bearded Miner, thank you very much for the sub. 8 months now, how time flies. I'm very sorry that you've had to be subbed for me for 8 months. Merry Christmas to you. Merry Christmas! FOMO in game with minimal content. So I'm not sure if they're trying to sell it as FOMO, but they're trying to sell it as, look, there are unique reasons to play in each major patch. So be part of the Star Citizen experience. And yeah, is there an element of fear of missing out there? Well, yeah. They want you to play it. Because they're now saying, look, there are reasons to play each major patch. And they're saying, we want you to come and play rather than support the project and wait. That is a marked difference in their development process. That they are saying, look, we are providing you something to play now. Come on, play it now. Rather than... or we're providing you something to play now until we get the game out. Do you see what I mean? I can't remember what the name... We voted on the name of the Javelin, and I can't remember what it was, but I've got the original poll, so I will find that out. So I have a Javelin, but I am deeming it a community Javelin, which we'll use for various community content, including if people want to ram it into another Javelin and mess around with it, we'll do that regularly on stream. And from people in my Discord, you will be able to operate and play with that Javelin. Pardon me. Hi, Bored. Hope you're well. I'm pretty good. Not 10 out of 10, but I'm a solid 8 at the moment. Sorry if this has already been asked, but what are your thoughts on the UK lockdown? I feel it's a step too far. So I'm not massively pro lockdown, but I'm also someone that will follow the rules because I don't have all the answers, nor do I see the full picture. So when government says lockdown or tiering and rules, and this is what the plan is, I'll follow that plan. I might complain about it, I might seek legal channels and talk about it, but I will never actively resist that sort of stuff. So, do I think Tier 4 is a bit upsetting? Yes. Do I want to be able to go around my mate's house and regularly play D&D and board games again? Yes. I want to go to the pub again eventually as well. Like, I haven't done that since March, I don't think. Like, it's been a long time. That is lifelines to sanity for me and some people, being able to get out of the house sometimes. Like, I'm pretty... I'm really lucky in the fact that I am able to work from home. I'm able to work well from home. That's where I work from. But also my social life is 90% online. And I can survive pretty well because of that. And actually have a lot of fun. And lockdown, for me, other than not being able to go and see certain friends, go and play board games occasionally, and occasionally go to the pub, other than that, lockdown's actually not awful for me at all. It's pretty chill. But you realise how much you need those things. And obviously for some people it's hugely worse than that. Like they're not able to work properly, they're not able to see friends that they need as lifelines. So do I think it's a step too far? Yeah. Do I think lockdowns work? I don't know. Like I can see on paper I can understand that they would. Like you don't want everyone to go out on New Year's Eve and all spread around. Yeah, but partial lockdowns don't seem to work because people are still mingling largely, and closing a pub at 8 p.m. rather than 10 p.m. or 12 p.m. Or sort of midnight just doesn't seem to help the situation. Like, I don't know. No. It's complicated, isn't it? And I don't have the answers for it. What are your thoughts on... Oh, sorry, we talked about that. What are your feelings on the fuel use of the Mercury Star on Nomad? So, it uses too much fuel, but obviously we have much larger fuel tanks now. They are reworking, it looks like, through 2021, the way that fuel intakes work and how fuel mixing works. So, at least at some point, you will have balanced fuel intakes. Could it be possible that fuel intakes and some other systems that you might be able to purchase for ships could increase fuel efficiency or give you different types of fuel intake? Yeah, that's a possibility. Also, when we have deeper power systems and capacitors and all this sort of like resource system stuff that they've got planned, you will be able to make your ships more fuel efficient as well. And power efficient. Yeah, Bored, do you think this new roadmap and all the things that are coming are we talked about that. How does BoredGamer celebrate Christmas? On a serious note, so I have my family around, at least some of them, because my one of my brothers and his partner came round, but my other one didn't because they were busy, which was sort of, it was nicer that it was a bit chiller, like in the fact that it was a bit more relaxed because I didn't have to cook so much and it wasn't so hectic, and I was exhausted. Like I ate Christmas dinner, and at 2 p.m. I went to bed. And I went to bed for 4 hours because I had a migraine. I was like, oh, so tired. It was nice. It was a nice chill day. Got to see some more of my family. Any idea when the 600i will be available again? Should be available to purchase throughout at some points next year, at the very least in November. But they should be doing a rework for the 600i, so bear that in mind. Do we know anything on medical gameplay? Medical gameplay, player status system, and medical gameplay is being worked on in 2021. We should see some of that come out in 2021, and that's going to be new effects to your character. Let's see if I can find it. Medical. Status. Updates to healing and the active status system, additional statuses, intoxication, effects from drugs, body tracking and stuff, also additional feedback, items with healing properties such as medipens and healing guns were to be used on other player characters and NPCs. So they're building towards some of that gameplay. Hey Bored, Merry Christmas. Hope you and your loved ones are all safe and well. My question is about loot. What do you think it will mean to the economy of the game? So, loot needs to be handled in a particular way, because when you loot things, are you going to be able to sell it for its full price? Almost certainly not. So, if it's stolen loot or illegal items or items that potentially are from pirates and stuff, maybe they only sell for a fraction of their value. So if that's handled correctly, that's fine. Now, a lot of this stuff might be functional, and you might be able to get it working again, so you can use it. But as long as it's not worth a huge amount when you sell it, I don't think it will damage the in-game economy. In fact, I think it will help drive the economy. Because you'll have, like, well, ships can be hugely damaged, and then you can capture them. Yeah? But you don't want to be able to immediately sell that ship easily. Like, okay, so if you're a pirate and you steal a ship, well, who would you sell that ship to? Maybe other pirates, or maybe another player. You could probably sell it to another player, but it's going to be a ship that, if seen in another Star System, a legal UEE one, they're going to go, well, that ship's a stolen ship, and you'll get a criminal rating and stuff. But if you're a legal player and you steal, reclaim a pirate ship, well, that's still a pirate's ship. That's not a ship that is legally allowed to be flown around in the UEE. So maybe you can get it somehow working and legalized, but it'll cost you time and effort and have to go through loops. But maybe it's just for salvage, or you can use it yourself in certain areas. But it doesn't overly affect the in-game economy because you are not able to sell it for a huge profit. Do you see what I mean? Just want to say again, because someone said good luck scalping. The Indomitus boxes behind me, they are for splitting. I do kit splitting. I specifically don't scalp. In fact, me and my mate DC, we are literally thinking of a anti-bot, anti-scalper business for PC hardware at the moment. But I buy limited run things. So this wasn't limited by amount. The second run of Indomitus, you buy as many copies as you wanted from GW. As many copies as you wanted. And it's print to order. So I went, I'll grab 60 copies of that, and I'll flog it on eBay. And how am I flogging it on eBay? I'm auctioning it. People can pay what they want for it, for the split kits. And I think split kits are a good thing. Do you see anti-scalper laws? No, but I'm fucking looking forward to that. Scalpers are genuine scum. Like, I'm pretty pro-capitalism, okay? But there are some extremes to that, and I hate botting, and I hate scalping. Jesus. Like PlayStation 5, especially when people are locked down at the moment and needing release, having these game systems that instantly get bought out because they've used botnets and various other devious means. So I'm really, really aggressively against the bots that people use, and I get quite grumpy at companies that allow these. That's the way I see it. They allow botting because they know they'll sell their product and there'll be scarcity of that product. So, and one of the other reasons I'm annoyed at scalpers as well is because of me not being able to get my 1380 and my 5000 series CPU, because I bought them within the first few seconds of them being available, and then the companies I bought them from said, we sold out literally immediately, and we don't have the stock we said we had, or the stock didn't update properly, so you'll have to wait in a queue. And that was hugely because of scalpers buying all that stuff up. So, for people that don't know, scalping is when you find a limited edition product, or a product that is limited quantity of, that you can effectively buy out. You buy them immediately and then flog them for a huge price increase. So it is morally, and I would actually argue in some senses, and well, actually in my sense of capitalism, that it's against capitalism as well. That is not how it's supposed to work. That is corruption going on there. So I don't mind people making profit. I don't mind people selling stuff that's effectively their ticket in a line. I do mind people buying up everything and then doubling its price. That's the EVE economy. That's how you make money in EVE. You bought up everything in Jita and then doubled its price. Used to do it on the WoW auction house. Oh man. Scalping inside of auction houses and games is fine. Apparently, in my head. That's just good economy. But yeah, we'll talk about, because what we wanted to do is potentially set up as a hardware vendor, as selling graphics cards and CPUs, and then have a ticket-based system, so you are able to purchase one of each of the products on our website at a certain time and date when your new product comes out, and you have like a time slot. You have to be verified, you get basically a ticket time, and that sort of stuff, to be as anti-bot and scalper as possible. We might, if there was a way to record the serial numbers and make sure people weren't selling them on eBay as well, I'd even go that far. I mean, I'm very pro personal liberty, but there's I think scalper and bot liberation stuff literally Maybe even using bots to liberate items from bots somehow. But I did like the fact that people are with PlayStations and things like that were hugely bidding on them on eBay with no intention to pay. Now, I say I like that. I don't endorse that. I don't endorse them being sold in the fucking first place, pardon my French. But you know. So it was an interesting conversation. I don't want people to think, because I got loads of Indomitus boxes, that I'm a monster. How do you think they're going to implement science in the game? So there's a huge amount of features which go over into science, or science sort of like goes into, including exploration, farming, scanning down points of interest, crafting. There's a huge amount. And what you'll see is a lot, and medical, you'll see lots of little bits of that coming online over the next few years. And then they will make sort of like ships like the Endeavour to bring it all together. Is iCache going to bring us snappy, less buggy servers as well? When it is refined, it should. Do you see the competition with Elite Dangerous Odyssey? Yes, but not in a bad way. I think there is a good amount of room for multiple space games like Elite Dangerous and Star Citizen in the world. Elite Dangerous pushing its boundaries and adding more content is a good kick up the arse to Star Citizen, and also a way to tell them what works and what doesn't work. Elite Dangerous and Star Citizen are different games, and Elite Dangerous is a fully developed game and released. And Star Citizen, although people will now argue that Star Citizen is partially released because of its alpha status, it's still not a fully released game. Let's be real about that. But yeah, great. I'm looking forward to Elite Dangerous Odyssey as well. When is the next ship sale event? So you'll have a huge ship sale event in May with Fleet Week again, and you'll have another ship sale of some description in end of March probably, for when they have the 3.13 release. Wow, Crusader and Horizon just got swept under the rug. No. So the thing with Horizon and Crusader, we're seeing work throughout 2021 for them, but we haven't seen all of the roadmap updates for 2021 yet, and it's possible that Crusader and Horizon might have some heavy work and some implementation Q1 and Q2 of 2021, so bear that in mind. Do you still run dual sticks for flight? So I never really was super pro dual stick personally. A lot of people said that they gave the best control, and I totally get that. I've been, for the most part, when I use a HOTAS, I use a Virpil Constellation Delta HOTAS, so with the throttle. It's absolutely fantastic. Virpil, in my opinion, have made by far the best stick for Star Citizen. I've not used every stick, but I've used like the Warthog and the X56 and all that sort of stuff. The T16000. And ETA on Theatres of War. You will see more tests on Theatres of War in the coming months, and we'll know more within the next quarter or so. So there is a lot more work they wanted to do with Theatres of War, getting animations and lag and performance up, basically. They don't want these laggy, janky games. They want them to be fun, and they want it to be smooth and playable like a Battlefield game. Yeah? Like a fully released game. Hardware differences notwithstanding, graphics lag, etc., why do my friends and I experience so many different bugs in the game, and to different degrees? It's weird, isn't it? It's a mixture of what servers you're on, what servers you're connected to and stuff, but it's because Star Citizen is not a refined, optimized game. When it is stabilized, then a huge range of edge case bugs are discovered and cleaned and fixed. Yeah? Bam. Got all these edge cases solved. Now, because of Star Citizen, there's loads of little bugs, and because there's so many edge case bugs, some people are going to have them and not others. But that's a problem at the moment, because they keep on updating the game without solving all these huge amount of bugs, and there's no solid base for this, like, these bugs to be consistently solved on. But when it gets to sort of beta stage and they do start to really, really, really hammer through those bugs, you should see a much better experience for everyone. Is the new star map in the roadmap? I know they're working on it. I didn't see it in the roadmap, no. Have you chosen the names for your ships yet? So we know that there's ship name customization looking like it's coming in 3.13. No, I haven't. Some of them I will just allow the community to choose names for and I'll do polls for. Have you thought about building and having your own base in Star Citizen? Yes, multiple bases is the plan. I've got a Pioneer. Base building is going to be one of the main things that I cover in Star Citizen as gameplay for myself. Like, it is something that I'm most interested in. So yeah. And we saw that there is small, livable player bases planned for the game, and work on that in 2021. In fact, base... What was it? So, house, home, small home outposts. So, work that's going on in Q3. A small home for players to live and shelter in. They consist of a central hub and a few optional internal and external modules. They provide the basic necessities to support a small group of people for an indefinite period of time. So, I'm not sure if it's just the homestead stuff that they've been working on, they're going to just start implementing as points of interest, or if it's actually going to be, well, actually players can... This is going to be the start of something that players might be able to build or expand out in some way. So that's getting some work in Q3 2021. Do you think the smudginess of planet rendering while flying or other artifacts like popping will improve when Vulcan comes fully online? It will improve in the future. Vulcan moving towards the like Gen 12 renderer stuff. Yeah, I mean that's going to help. It's certainly not going to hurt. Will Squadron 42 be a separate module so it runs better and smoother than the PU? Yes. Almost 100%. I'd say on that. The server and the client are basically both on the client computer in Squadron 42. It's single player. So you don't need to connect to a server to run it separately. It's not external to your computer, and there's a lot more known constants and less prediction required for Squadron. So it should run a lot better. I say it should run a lot better. That also means that CIG are aware that there's a lot more resources they can tap into for various things as well. So they might scale it. Yeah, so I do partially blame the companies that allow scalpers to buy from them as well. At the moment, I use mouse and keyboard to control Star Citizen for the most part. You want the new roadmap link? It's the same as the old one. So here you go. So let's just show off the new roadmap very briefly. So at the moment, we've only got in the release view 3.13, so the Q1 21 patch, 2021 Q1 end of March patch. So it shows the various features and everything like the old ones did. Now, in January, they've said that they're going to add 3.14, basically the Q2, Q3, and Q4 patches to this as well. Great. And give a bit more detail on some potential other features that might be coming in 3.13. We also now have, and this is the main addition to the roadmap at this stage, the Progress Tracker. The Progress Tracker shows what 20 of the 50 teams at Star Citizen are working on currently. Okay? And it shows around 4 quarters. Actually, some of it is shown into January 2022. Of what sort of features are being worked on by what teams. And this gives us a huge indicator of what the priorities and plans are for patches throughout 2021. So we see things like the Hercules C2. That looks like, well, actually, that's planned for Q1, isn't it? Yeah, it is. It's planned for Q1. We see things like the Polaris, let's say, and some other ships. A lot of ships were by the end of the year. I've forgotten now. Vehicle team. 2 quarters view. Vehicle content team. We've got the Ares, Ion, and Inferno. Sort of plan to get work in 2021, and the Nova tank or Tonk, the Constellation Taurus, the Polaris, the Redeemer, things like that. So the Hull series, at least the A and B. So there's a load going on, and it sort of shows us some of the priorities and plans throughout. But I've done a... Zin's currently editing a video on that for me, which will either go up live later today or tomorrow, going over what's being worked on Q2, Q3, and Q4 2021, sort of what the plans are, what those features mean, what they're sort of doing, their priorities lie, all that sort of stuff. Were there any problems with the new drivers? Had massive FPS drops and hitching for older games. Unsure about Star Citizen. What with the new NVIDIA drivers that were made for Cyberpunk? I haven't noticed huge frame drops or anything, no. Yeah, so they're adding a load more teams to the roadmap. So you'll be able to see some of their downstream teams and stuff in January, it looks like. Just checking, even though time frame wise, the Mercury Star Runner was released in the last patch. It's not available to buy in game using AVC in 3.12 yet, is it? No, not yet. I'm hoping in 3.13 it will be though. Will the names for our ships be printed on the ship itself in some way? I believe there are serial numbers and decals for names on the sides of ships for 3.13. When iCache gets fully released... I also think when you scan a ship, you'll see its name as well. When iCache gets fully released, will that mean we get AI workers we can hire at some point, maybe in the future? In the future, you will be able to do 2 different things. You'll be able to hire NPC crew, and you'll be able to get AI blades that will allow you to automate some functionality of your ship. Do they consider selling the game on Steam? Not that they have talked about it yet. I'm interested to know about what platforms they will be selling on, if any, beyond their launcher, because now that they've finished their case with Crytek, I think they are probably, I don't know for sure, I think they're probably to sell on any platforms they want. So that'll be interesting. Will they, when their game's complete, go, actually, we might as well sell on Steam and Epic Store, because why wouldn't we? That's a huge amount of people that will buy our game just on those platforms. So that'll be interesting to see what happens with that. What else have we got here? Is the new renderer stuff still planned? Yes, they're still working on Vulkan and the Gentile renderer. Expect to see updates on that when they update the roadmaps in January. When can we expect the Bounty Merchantman? It's not on the roadmap yet. I would expect it after the Polaris, so I'd expect work to start on it in 2022. Have you considered doing IRL meetings with fans? I want to do a regular Bar Citizen event. So, yes. When do you think the A2 will be done? It's got work planned on it in 2021. I think it will be done in 2021. Should they just remake the Squadron 42 vertical slice from a couple of years ago? To be honest, I'd be happy with that if they just showed the same vertical slice stuff, but updated massively. I'd be okay with that with Squadron 42 stuff, but maybe there's reasons they don't want to do that. Or updated, like, Admiral Bishop speeches and things like that. There's not any more spoilers, is it? Unless you consider stuff looking good as a spoiler. What's the reason for core tech not being added to the roadmap that took a year to make? I don't know. I'm not sure why they haven't added those teams yet. They have not thoroughly gone into details of why they haven't added the core tech teams yet. Maybe it's because they haven't fully decided on their priorities yet. It's possible. For 2021. Do you think the prices are going to keep going up in January? I don't know what you mean, but prices of what? Do you think they're going to... Star Citizen's going to keep on making more and more money? Yeah, it looks to me like they're going to make more and more. Even without CitizenCon this year, they've made a huge profit, eh? Are we expecting that special ship that was potentially, that Star Citizen Leaks thought was going to release with 3.12 to be released at some point? We don't have a release date for that now. But for secret ships, straight to flyable ships. We don't 100% know that it's 100% accurate either. So. Do you think the weapons should be able to be fired within armistice zones? They will be able to soon. So, weapons... Ship weapons can be fired around station armistice zones now. Yeah, you can fire your weapons there. And they will open that up to all zones properly at some point and have a full set of laws and defense systems that will react appropriately. And they are going to be opening that up to FPS weapons as well. Some of the next planets, 1 to 3, in fact, are being worked on in Q2 2021, and the Pyro system as well is getting work. And when do you think they'll be in game? So hopefully the Pyro system will be in for Q4 2021, that's what it looks like to me. And Nick system, I think that's more of a 2022 thing. Expect more stock of graphics cards and CPUs to be around the world in sort of mid-January time. Do you think the Polaris could make Q4 2021? And I don't think so. No. I think that it's going to have a load of work started on it towards the end of 2021, but I don't think it's going to be ready by any means. Being a scalper is like is the modern equivalent of being a snake oil salesman. I see what you mean, but it's not snake oil though, is it? What you're doing is you're going to like a new frontier town, and you're buying all the water. You're just buying all their water up, and going, oh, I've got the land with the water on. Oh, well, that's a shame, isn't it? Water prices going up. Do you know something about the constellation Taurus? Like, when does it come? So, it's in the roadmap. It's being worked on. It looked like it was potentially going to be... well, it's getting work, I believe, in Q2 2021. So, could come out at the same time. Although they keep on pausing and starting work on the Taurus. Because it's sort of just what they do with it. They reprioritize stuff around it loads of the time. So, do you think CIG will start leaning more towards a soft release if they get both iCache and server meshing online in 2021? I mean, they're going to keep on doing exactly the same thing they've been doing for the last couple of years, well, last year or so, with major playable releases. That's going to be their next 2-3 years sort of plans. Maybe they'll start to lean towards more of a beta a little while after that. But do you think ship prices will keep going up in January? What do they keep going up? Released, so ships that are currently in concept that become flyable, yes, they'll go up in price. When will they go up in price? When they're closer to release. Or when they're released. I don't know how to pronounce your name. Murzman. Mura. Murzami. How brain can't work out numbers in name. Thank you, and editing pal, that's Sinya, for your content. Good luck for the future. Merry Christmas again. Warm thoughts for the rest of lockdown and stay safe. Thank you very much. Hopefully lockdown will be done by March. With 3.13, will any player be able to name any ship they own? We don't know. So the feature basically says that they have the ability to have customs. They have specialist serial numbers for each ship. Each ship has its own unique serial number. Ship names can be a thing, but we don't know what form of customization and player-facing ability to change names will be. Hello, hello. With some scanning and blades gameplay coming in next year, do you think drones for the Carrack will become available? Haven't seen anything about drones in the roadmap. Could we see it in January with drones being added to the roadmap in more detail? Yeah, it's possible, but we don't have any indicators of that yet. Do you think the sales of Squadron 42 and the possible licensing of the engine would offset the monetary gain from no longer selling ships? Okay. Looking long term at Star Citizen, they were able to, well, in the short term, when they sell Squadron 42 as a finished game, and Star Citizen as a finished game, they're able to make a huge amount of money in the short term when those products release. Then, are they able to support future development with just selling those games and the selling of in-game currency? Maybe. But I am expecting for them to still sell concept ships. I'm expecting for them to still sell that sort of stuff, because otherwise they're going to probably need subscription-based models, in my opinion, for long-term sort of game support. And I'm talking like 10 years plus after game release. Do you know what I mean? But we'll have to wait and see, I suppose. Do you think the Cloud Imperium will rework the website? Well, they've got Turbulent very much working for them and building a new studio for them. I'd hope that they get a slightly better updated website. Is Crusader or Gas Giant tech being built out by a team that's not currently on the progress tracker? Potentially. So we can see Urzen version 1 and 2 on the roadmap being worked on by some teams throughout 2021, with Urzen version 1 appearing in sort of like Q2 2021 at the moment. Does that mean that we're not getting any form of Urzen or Crusader in Q1? Well, we don't know yet, because they haven't finished adding stuff to the roadmap. Got to remember as well with Star Citizen is that they do have 2 more AAA games planned after Star Citizen and Squadron 42 Episode 1's released, with Episode 2 and 3 of Squadron 42. Any thoughts or info you've heard about the Madden Merchantman and its implementation of its merchant mechanics? So it's going to be modular shops is one of its major things. NPCs will be running the shops for you, and you can set them up to have stocks and supplies of sort of whatever that will fit in the shop, as far as I'm aware. And they can have certain archetypes and things like that. You also have a huge sort of stock and cargo area that you can do hauling with. Do you think CIG will ever develop a land vehicle tailored for scientific research? I think that's a strong possibility. What's the deal with the song you've been playing at the end of your videos recently? It's a song that's from New Babbage in Star Citizen. You can hear it if you listen. And you're in that landing zone. Zin liked it, which is why we use it. I think she's the editor. I give her Editor's privilege. That's me stretching. A CX in the UK allows you to sell new consoles and GPUs for profit. This shop encourages scalpers. What do you think of that? They sell them. So I saw them with huge prices. They shouldn't be encouraging scalping. Sup? You're right, Narek, mate. If Theaters War pulls it off, it might replace Battlefield for me. Okay, I think for some people that's true. I think Battlefield will also still be a staple for a lot of people. Do you think they will allow Alpha UEC to be somewhat converted into UEC? No, I don't think so. I think there will be a wipe when they change over to UEC from Alpha UEC, because then that's permanent. Science stuff as a whole will probably be some of the last things implemented, in my opinion. Yep, I agree. What's the deal with player bounties? I got a certification mission to neutralize a player. I found him, shot him, and got a crime stat. Oh, so there are some bugs in Star Citizen still. Some of the certification missions were bugged. I know that someone was talking about that earlier. That's obviously a bug that you need to report. Narek, thank you very much for the 39-month sub. My God, monstrous. That's a long time. Appreciate it, sir. VR in the future. It's still roughly planned. Once we have Vulkan integration, I think that CIG will talk a bit more about VR integration in the future, but it's a long way out. And when do you think the new renderer will come? In 2021? I think it's probably in the first half of 2021, and with the start of moving over to Vulkan and the Gen 12 renderer. If they can't pull off Squadron 42, Star Citizen is doomed. I'm not sure if it would be doomed, but it would be pretty awful. It would be pretty awful. It's an indicator, wouldn't it? If they can't make Squadron 42 a single-player game good, then what hope is there for Star Citizen? I think it would be a good indicator, yes. They need to make that game great. Hi, Bored. Do you think that after the release of Squadron 42, they will use systems and locations from it for the Star Citizen? Yes, it will be the Odin system. Merry Christmas to you and yours, Bored. A small like, what do you think of naming of your ships? Do we know if it's going to come with decals in this iteration? No, we don't. We don't know to what extent we're going to be able to customize ships. It's coming in 3.13 in some degree, is what it appears. Why do you think they removed the AR guidance tunnels at Area 18 and Lawville? Because they went, this is not working as we intended. We want to have a larger refactor of restricted zones, which they are working on for 2021. Board, seems to me that major things to do in game would be the most desired: farming, base building, salvage, releasing ships for cash grab, while developing minimal content to make a distant dent in game. Why no armor on? What? What? Merry Christmas! Lots of Merry Christmases. Do you think salvaging could be one unannounced things on the new roadmap? So salvage tier 0 is in the is being worked on in 2021. It's in the progress tracker. Ordered myself an eye tracker 5. Have I used one yet? Me and Zin have both got one coming to us. They have yet to arrive. So Star Citizen now has Toby eye tracker support, and we'll be doing a video on that in the future. Do you know if the game will be playable in streaming services in the future, GeForce Now, etc.? No, I don't, because that's individual to those services like Stadia, like GeForce Now. However, it works for Shadow now, so I use Shadow. I'm a big Shadow shill. I stopped promoting them so much because they had these huge waiting times, because they were unable to sort of like improve their infrastructure because of some global lockdowns that slowed them down. And I was like, if people have to wait 3+ months for on a waiting list for these, then I'll stop promoting them for a bit. But now they're much more readily available again. Subscription-based cloud gaming stuff. Will they be combining the personal inventory and character customization all in one place, like PUBG? So there is going to be player inventory and drag and drop. Is it all going to be in one place? I think there's a player asset thing as well that they've got planned. And obviously you'll be putting items in physical locations. Derek Adams! Merry Christmas, Board! Do we have any idea how much longer and for what reasons the A2 will come out after the other Hercules variants? So, the A2 is getting work later in 2021, so potentially it could come out in 2021 as well. How are the refineries meant to work exactly? I haven't really hopped on yet. I saw that there's a gravity gun now, like the one from Half-Life. It's not exactly like the one from Half-Life. Yeah, so the gravity gun is a module for your multi-tool, which you can buy at refineries and various other shops that you can buy multi-tool attachments from in general, and allows you to do two things. You can pick up boxes of up to 250 kilograms, but pick up basically small boxes, move them around, and you can use it as a grappling hook in EVA to drag yourself around. Okay, really, really useful, really cool. Gonna have a lot more functionality in the future for sure. Refineries, basically, you go mining, then you take your mining ship to a refinery, and you can make a lot more money turning your goods into refined goods than you could just selling the raw. So you'd go to that refinery, you'd go to a refinery console, and you'd access that, you'd set up a job. So you have a choice of different refining processes, which give you different yields based on the amount of time and money you're willing to spend. Different refineries as well have different proficiencies, which mean like you'll get more gold or less quantanium from a yield. So bear that in mind as well. And then you set up that job, and then you start it, and when it will take a certain amount of time, and then when it's done, you'll be able to access and grab that loot and put it into another ship, and then go elsewhere and sell it. Taking in live bounties, it looks like that is planned for, at least in some part, for 2021, or at least there's work to it, because there are they talk about dragging and that sort of stuff. So I would expect to start seeing live bounties towards the end of 2021, in my opinion. I've not been able to play since 3.0. There's a huge amount that's changed since 3.0. There's a huge amount. The game is significantly more playable. It's not as much of a buggy piece of shit. It's a lot more stable. There's a huge amount more performance gains. There's a huge amount more to do. Mining is super developed as a gameplay loop. Is the personal infantry system still planned based on what you will have equipped? For example, equipping an ammo belt gives you more slots. Yes, that appears to be the case. What are your thoughts on future private modded servers? It's going to be a long way out if that's still the plan. Tractor beams let me finally use Mustang Alpha for box delivery. Need to get the armistice. Need to take armistice stones into account. Armistice stones going to be more relaxed in the future as well. So, surrender options in development. Isn't the surrender option planned for 3.13 as well? So that the first proper version of surrendering is in 3.13. So the next major patch. And basically, if security forces say stop, criminal scum, you can power off your ship and stop moving, and they will come over to you, and you'll basically spawn in prison, and so you don't lose your life. In the future, I suspect that will be, you'll be able to come to a halt as a person and put your arms behind your head, and the bounty hunter will be able to arrest you as well. What else we got? Wait, if there will be Vulkan integration, will it mean that official Linux support might be extra on its way? Potentially. Potentially. AKA Strack, thank you very much for the Twitch Prime sub. Oh, appreciated. If anyone else wants to chuck Twitch sub Prime stuff at me, or, you know, money, clicks on the join buttons on YouTube, it's all appreciated. Thanks very much. Thanks. Merry Christmas. Are you going to make a video going over the new roadmap tracker anytime soon? Zin is working on editing that currently. She may have already finished. Can you use Shadow on standalone VR like Oculus Quest? I have not tested it on Oculus Quest. I did have my... I did briefly have my... be very accurate with what I say. I did very briefly have my Valve Index hooked up to it and doing stuff, but I didn't test it with the game. I need to test the new version of Shadow because I haven't done it for a long time. So I will add that to my list of things to do. Basically, I'm going to give Zin a big list of test all these things with Shadow and tell me if they work fully. So when I promote them properly, because I'll start promoting them again properly next month, because they've got like proper ray tracing rigs and things like that now available. I'll make sure that stuff like that I'll tell you in more detail. Like how tricky is it to set up a HOTAS through Shadow, things like that. Do you think CIG will make player events and actions drive the lore in game for the long term? Well, yeah, we'll definitely draw. It will definitely affect the lore in game going forward. Yeah, the new lore. If iCache does not get released in 2020, Q1 2020, well, number one, I assume you mean 2021. Number two, it's not getting released in Q1 2021. There is some work going on to iCache where they're transferring a load of the legacy systems out to iCache, but iCache looks like it's releasing next year, but not Q1 of next year. When the new ship naming system stuff goes live, we don't know exactly what customization ability we're going to have with it, but I will name my ships. A lot of them will be named via polls. So we'll do some polls on the YouTubes and stuff. Have they fixed the bug of a ship when it goes into quantum but leaves the pilot in space? I have not seen that during 3.12. Seeing since the latest patch deployment, I've definitely not seen that. Let's be more specific. Will I need iCache for space hose? Wow. Nice. Yes. Do you think the Goofy team that brought us teddy bear masks will give us Santa's sleigh as a concept ship? Wow. I think maybe they'll make a joke about it. With 2020 being almost over, can you name a personal achievement of this year? I lost a huge amount of weight that I've gained a little tiny bit in the last couple of weeks. Over 2020. No, I can't name anything else other than that. I survived until the end of 2020, probably. Will spawning in hospital ships be limited? To some degree, yes, but we don't know exactly how. We don't know if it's going to be limited by cost, limited by beds, limited by the amount of times you can do it, how often you can do it. Ka-ching! Liab! 37, thank you very much for the sub-prime! It is Boxing Day, yes. When do you think hospital gameplay will be a thing? Piracy is broken with prison gameplay lacking. Hospital play when bounties kill bounty hunters? Question mark. So you're going to see lots of different things in 2021. They are updating healing, medical gameplay, and player status system. I would expect to see more additions with hospitals and clinics added to some degree. When it and then you'll spawn there over and your habs and stuff. So. Is the Polaris really 170 to 195 meters? I think it's still on 200 meters, isn't it? Congrats on your weight loss. Thank you very much. Oh, it has grown in size a little bit, the Polaris. I know that. What is your opinion about electron damage? To me, it seems OP, with the fact it bounces and deals damage and stuns. Why would you still go for physical bullets? I mean, you can one-shot people with some of the physical weapons. It depends on sort of how that damage type is going to be affecting people. Like, maybe electron damage like that, the current electron damage, might be really ineffective against heavy armor. So we need the physicalized damage systems and things like that first, and how these different damage types affect players and armor types. I'm interested in getting a Valkyrie for troop drop shipping, but still in doubt. What will be the added value of such a ship compared to putting 30 peeps in a Cutlass or something? So, it will be able to take a lot more punishment. It will be able to support the op once you've actually dropped those people off, and while you're trying to get them out, and while you're dropping them off. I think they want to have mounted weapons much more apart in Star Citizen as well, so then they'll be a lot more effective as a thing. The Valkyrie is a focused dropship, so it'll be able to take the punishment to get the players in and out there, is the idea. Oh, and the other thing is, they are adding more stuff to do with staggers and the Stumble Boy force reaction system. If your Cutlass, gets hit by a missile, or you clip something, or stop suddenly, the people in that Cutlass, if you've got 30 of them, are going to go flying everywhere. Okay, they're going to be bumping into each other, injuring each other, falling over. But if they're in the drop seats in the Valkyrie, they're going to be fine. In the new roadmap, it's saying that the Polaris is also needed for Squadron 42. Do you think that it's for Chapter 2? I don't know for sure. I would expect it to be for Chapter 2, because the Polaris is relatively new as a ship in lore, right? Question mark? What's the dirtiest ship name you can think of? Cock. I've got quite a clean mind though, so... thinking of armor, do I understand correctly that player armor is going to use the same damage system as ships? Sort of. Yeah, it's physicalized damage system. Can we drag body with multi-tool with the tractor beam attachment? Okay. So, I believe we will be able to properly in the future, because it is just an item with weight, right? What are all these boxes? I was explaining earlier. So, I bought a load of Indomitus boxes. Hashtag not a scalper, but I bought a load of Indomitus boxes. To sell, I split Games Workshop kits on online. The sort of sideline I do. Not for exorbitant profits. I just do a large portion, a large amount of them. Literally the idea being that people are able to get the kits significantly cheaper because you buy them in the boxes and they're able to get exactly what they want. I think that 40k models and stuff should be as accessible as possible. And I make money from doing it as well, so... When can we expect water as a valuable commodity? In space, it's probably the most valuable. That's a good point. I don't know. It should be a actual movable commodity, ice and that sort of stuff at some point, or water in some description. Also, they did say that they want you to be able to exploit liquids in the game, so literally harvest them, I would expect. So at some point, yeah. They've even talked about moisture extractors as well and things. So, with the force reactions, can you simulate 0G flights you can buy right now in real life? No. That'd be interesting though. So if you are a ship flying downwards, you'd have this fake zero gravity. I'm not even sure how that would work in Star Citizen. Ships are considered their own personal gravity physics grid. So you'd have to have the gravity generator off and then 0G. And then would you just be stuck to the back of the ship? I don't know. In Star Citizen Live, they mentioned that ship modularity is coming. So it's starting. No, it's starting with the Retaliator, and then moving on to other ships. Yes. What types of module will be released? We don't know yet. So expect to see the Retaliator modules that they had planned. So the sort of drop pod one and the cargo one. Can we use the hand tractor beam to water ski behind the cutters? I'm going to allow it. Not yet. Is there a workaround for the bounty bug? Bounty bug. I heard that if you have someone else share the assessment mission, it will start to work. I didn't think you could actually share the assessment missions. I didn't have problems with it. I was able to do the bounty hunting missions yesterday pretty well, without any problems. But other people have been having problems with the bounties. So I'm not sure if it's just that I'm in a different area of space. I was doing mine around Hurston. Yes, I was doing mine around Hurston. Will there ever be elevators with a glass view? I would expect so. He loses 10% on each sale. Don't worry. No, it makes about 20%. Makes about 20% profit over the purchase of the boxes after everything else, which I think is pretty good. It's pretty low effort. The roadmap shows under sign distance field shields that it can be applied to more than just vehicles. Yes, it does. They're using sign distance field tech to have ships like capital ships break apart and stuff. Yes. It's sign distance field tech in general. And will we see personal shields and stuff? Well, we know there's going to be deployable gadgets. And yeah, potentially some space stations could have shields. And yeah, they've got aquatic vehicles and boats listed in things that they're being worked on. Specifically, aquatic boats and vehicles. Yes, actual boats in game. So is there any event? We're expecting in January for the 20... we're expecting for the Xeno threat set of missions, let's say, to start. It's the current expectation. When implemented, do you think the tractor beam on the Cutlass will allow us to wield a Aurora like a Warhammer? I'm not sure of the amount of weight that it will be able to carry, or mass it will be able to carry. I like the idea though. I don't think I'll be able to swing it with enough force. Do you think what do you think about the Polaris being added to the roadmap? Is the game in a good enough state to add it in with no ships like the Ares or Perseus in? The Ares is also looking like it's getting done before, or around the same time as the Polaris. Look at the roadmap. It's getting work in 2021 anyway. Those two ships. Has anyone been flying a Hawk? I haven't actually flown the Hawk for ages. I've been having trouble with mine jerking around the directions, and I can't figure out why. Oh, No worries at all. Happy to answer people's questions. Thanks for asking them. After doing the missions and resetting character, the starting missions don't get reset, so the reputation gets reset, but the missions to access the bounty hunting missions don't. You only get certification missions, which don't give you access, just increase rep. Huh? Is that the problem? That they've sort of removed some of it, but not properly? Yeah, it's a shame that they sort of deleted a load of rep and cleared it with the 3.12.0a patch. They were supposed to be stored in the long-time assistance database, but obviously wasn't. So hopefully in the future it will be. Will you be able to turn off gravity in your ship? So some ships that have gravity generators, yes. So that's the plan as far as I'm aware. Will large ships docked to space stations protect player ships? So there will be laws and there will be defenses that protect the ship. So probably. What I am hoping there happens is that when you are docked with a space station, I want sign distance fields and I want shield tech that goes, well, that's become part of the station bubble. So the whole station effectively protects that ship. Yeah, that's what I'd like to see. I think that's a sensible way of protecting ships that are docked at major landing zones. Are you going to be able to steal an Idris in 3.12? So you sort of can, but it is very buggy and janky and glitchy. Like, you're not supposed to be able to, but you can. Just search on YouTube for stealing Idris 3.12 and you can see a video or two doing that. I have yet to do it. I appreciate the love. Thank you very much. Appreciate everyone watching as well. Yes, so there's still a few things coming this year from me and Zin. We're going to be covering more 3.12 content, obviously, because it's a game that we can play now. We're going to be doing more stuff, fighting Idrises and messing around with things like that. We're looking forward to the Xenothreat Center missions in 2021 now. We're going to be covering lots of various content and the priorities and plans for 2021. I'll either today or tomorrow be getting a video up on looking at the rest of the roadmap for Q2, Q3 and Q4 next year and priorities and plans for CIG. Yeah, so there's a lot of content to come still. I'm going to probably have a pretty chill New Year's. I will be streaming, I think, before New Year's, so don't worry too much about that. I'm not sure that you'd be worried anyway. If you've got any particular content that you want me or Zin to cover in the short to mid-term, please drop me an email, rich@boardgamer.co.uk, or you could get me on Discord, discord.gg/boardgamer. Say hello. I'm pretty responsive to people for the most part. Yeah, I'm pretty full stop. I'm reasonably happy with the content they've got planned for 2021 at the moment. Star Citizen development is relatively slow. I want to see what the rest of the teams have planned. So in January, they're going to be adding a load more information to that roadmap and the sort of like rough release plans for Q2, Q3, and Q4 from the release view, stuff that they've got more focused. This is what we think we're releasing. All ships plan to have air shields. No. Do you think they'll be able to add many more large assets to Orison and Crusader without some form of server meshing? Yes. I think they can actually pretty well support a single star system without server meshing. Will we see more station designs? Yes. You'll see more variety to stations, more station designs. They're building some more small rest stops for Pyro system, which might be different, might be a little bit older. and they're building Ruin Station as well in 2021. Koas, I love you. Do you also think that CIG and RSI need to nerf all trick ships? No. So there's going to be a huge amount of balance that comes in the future. So as long as their stuff's not super overpowered or super broken when they go balancing from patch to patch for the most part, I'm sort of pretty chill until the game is closer to release and then they can balance everything. At least once we have physicalized components in and the resource system, then they can balance stuff a lot more appropriately, and physical damage. Do you think that all ships will get a rework, especially considering airlocks and not everyone has an air shield? No, so they don't need to have air shields on all the ships. In fact, only some are going to have air shields. It was originally specifically Tavaran tech ships, but some other ships might get it. So air shields versus airlocks. Airlocks are obviously a lot lower tech, and yeah, ships are going to get updated for security mission systems and lighting systems and airlock systems. So you're going to have bulkheads and stuff that lock for the room system that keep it pressurized or whatever. So it's not going to be air shields for all ships. Jerry Baden, congratulations to making it to a live stream. I am stopping pretty soon though. We'll be able to restock, refuel, and rearm our ground vehicles from support ships. I would expect so, but I don't have confirmation of that. You'll be able to do it in some way. I expect that they'd be given the same sort of ability, yeah? Do you think that we can see monuments on historical locations? For example, can we visit the Moonlander or near-future historical locations such as SpaceX Mars Base? I don't know what the plans are for those locations. You'll certainly be able to see in lore historical locations, but we'll be able to see real life ones. I mean, it's a good way in the future, eh? 930 years in the future? Question mark? Right. Just go here. So, will we see the website roadmap updated? It's been updated. The roadmap has been updated. Let's have a quick look at this before we go again. So we've got roadmap update. So we've got the release view, which shows 3.13 at the moment. In January, it's going to show Q2, Q3, and Q4. And they're going to be adding some more stuff to the roadmap in general because they've only got 20 of the 50 teams currently listed here. So we can see various things that have been worked on for 3.13. It's not exhaustive at this point either. So some cool stuff. Hercules C2 and the M2 as well. Although there's more work listed for them later in 2021 as well. Some work towards iCache, but not the full iCache system. And then we've got the progress tracker, which is where the new roadmaps really shine, showing what a large portion of the teams are doing for various bits throughout the year. So you can see what quarters are getting worked on where, and what items are getting worked on for them, and for whether it's Squadron 42 or Star Citizen. And we've got a huge amount of things here. We've got things like the Hull series and the Polaris getting work, Polaris receiving work, that some of which will finish by the end of 2021. But there's no confirmation any of this will actually make those particular patches or whatever that they finish around. But there's things like homesteads and player bases. There's things like the Constellation Taurus and the Ares, the Ion and the Inferno, and the A2 Starlifter was somewhere, I'm pretty sure. I think I saw the A2 anyway. The M2 I saw? I think it was the A2. Question mark. Time distance fields getting used for different things. Aquatic vehicles and boats. Loads and loads and loads and loads of stuff. Salvage Tier 0. So it shows that a lot of this stuff's getting work next year. Server meshing and, well, actually, lots of stuff towards server meshing, but those core tech teams working on iCache and server meshing haven't been added here yet. But we see Pyro and lots of work to Pyro and lots of work to the standard system, which looks to end at the end of 2021. Doesn't mean that 100% that server meshing and Pyro and 4.0 is going to be released by the end of the year, but that's what it looks like the aim is at the moment. There's a huge amount of stuff going on here, and I will be getting a video up either later today or tomorrow, looking at this in a lot more detail. It's been finished. I'm just waiting for Zin to finish editing it. You know what I mean? The audio's been done. It's probably done. It's got scramble races and reputation gates, lots of dynamic event stuff. Orison version 1, so that finishes in June. Although that doesn't preclude Orison or Crusader being done, something for it for Q1 2021. Maybe there'll be Orison version 0, maybe there'll be Crusader, Orison version 2 towards the end of the year. Ruin Station, lots more Pyro stuff. Various sort of improvements to bounty hunting and things like that. Work doing that throughout the year. Dynamic mission system stuff. There's a huge amount here. We'll have a little bit more context on this in January. And I haven't actually even looked at the Squadron 42 stuff yet. So we've got like the Nix system being worked on as well. So I would expect the Nix system to be the next major system after Pyro system's done. That probably will be in 2022, that Nix system. Things like the Redeemer getting work. Nova tank. Oh, looking forward to the tank. So looks like it's getting a lot of its work done by an art team, design team, and content teams for May. So hopefully that will be a drivable tank in Q2 2021. Enemy. Yeah, this was one of the other ones. Construction and implementation of approved concepts for various enemy ships. Squadron 42 thing. I was like, ooh, what is this? Yeah, there's absolutely loads of stuff. Capacitors of things in game. So basically improvements to the power distribution and how that affects gameplay. Stuff with technical debt, the Taurus. Oh yeah, I did see the A2. A2's getting work. So yeah, jump points, some missile improvement stuff, control services, permission system for multi-crew ships. So that will allow people to be like, you're an engineer. This means you can access these parts of the ship and use these systems. So quite a lot of cool stuff there. As I said, far too much to go through. And the video that we'll put out will go over the stuff very briefly. And then we'll start looking at it, each individual, well, I say each individual, a lot of individual components and what they actually bring to the game in a bit more detail once we know a bit more. I'll poke CIG for about a few things. There's new sort of like damage types as well. Plasma Incendiary and Disarray. I don't even know what Disarray is, but probably some sort of e-warfare-y, confusing your sensors and radars and that sort of stuff. Salvage Tier 0 as well. I'm looking forward to that. So we'll have to wait and see exactly what that means. Right, I'm gonna, well, we'll do a real quick lightning round. Oh, Vin V, thank you very much. Thanks for the monies, appreciated. We'll do a very quick lightning round. I'll just answer the rest of the questions, and then I'm gonna dash it off. Tank, what's a tank? Ah, you mean the Tonk, and it is listed as the Tonk now, yes. Did you notice the Redeemer now has Squadron 42 logo next to its name? That could be a mistake, but yeah, it looks like maybe they'll be using the Redeemer in Squadron 42. How do you do the Idris mission legally? So, the current legally done Idris mission is the Arlington Gang set of missions that you'll get from Miles Eckhart. So, you need to do ECNs and I think mercenary missions near Hurston. Sweet, because he's in Lawville Bar there, yeah? Yeah. And then he'll have an appointment to go meet him, and then that will start a set of Miles Eckhart missions, and that will get you onto the Arlington Gang missions, and that ends up with an Idris. What is the progress? What does the duration 9 weeks mean in Progress Tracker? So that means that working on it will take 9 weeks. There's teams that are working on it for that amount of time. If it's in week 9, that means it's week 9 in a sprint, in a quarter. So let me show you. So if you talk 1 quarter view, you can see that every quarter is split up into 13 weeks. So week 13 is the last week of quarter Q1, and then you have the same for quarter 2, 13 weeks. Okay, the duration of a particular feature or whatever is how long the sprint is. Yeah, how long they expect the sprint to be for those particular deliverables. I heard ship naming is coming. Is that in the next patch? That is in the next major patch. They have a ship naming feature. So that is literally on the release view. Let's have a quick read of this, because a lot of people are obviously very excited for that. Bam. Is this feature. Vehicle names and serial numbers for 3.13. Adding the ability for ships that display custom player-assigned names on the side of their ships. Special serial numbers will also be shown, and all other ships will have unique serial numbers displayed to identify them in the verse. So expect that to be also be scanned. You see the name and stuff. Does that mean we can write names on the side of our ship? Maybe. We don't know what level of player customization we're going to have. Sprint length is determined by what armor you're wearing. I mean, it does. No. I hate you. I heard ship. No, that's what we talked about. I've got anything else. What about fauna? Flora and fauna. We know that there are dedicated teams working on those. I would suspect that those teams have yet to be added to the roadmap, because we know that only 20 of the 50 teams have been added so far. We're getting a lot more in the forms of updates to those roadmaps in January. Did you have a good Christmas? Yes, I did. Thank you very much. Although I did go to sleep at around 2:30 in the afternoon because I was sleepy. How's your health now? Are you better? I'm very tired at the moment. I'm a lot better than I was a couple of weeks ago, though. I was very, very ill. I may have had the COVID. Or just some sort of bad gastro flu, but I was very ill. I'm still tired from it. Looks like there may be 13 ships slated to come out in 2021. Well, they're at least getting work. They're getting work. So I'm not sure if they're coming out, but it's possible that some, if not all of them, could be. Plus 5 straight-to-flyable ships. There's a load of unannounced ships and unannounced things on there. Assuming none of them get delayed, which is a big if. Do you think 18 is going to... That's a huge number of ships. There's no way they're going to... No way they're going to be able to deliver 18 ships next year, in my opinion. I think that's a big number. Because a lot of people that are working on ships could also be working on structures and space stations and environments. And they're going to obviously want a lot of focus on that as well. If you look at some ships right now, they need a rework if they ever get even close to save Russia living space inside. The Valkyrie come here to mind. That's atrocious design. You said there's obviously lots of issues with some of the ships. Some of the ships do need air shields. Some are probably fine without it. Some are more focused for atmospheric assaults than others. So we'll have to see what they decide. Things like the Valkyrie. I mean, they work as dropships because they've got so many bulkheads that seal. You can have a load of people waiting in the jump seats, and then have a couple of people with masks and with helmets and EVA suits on, using mounted weapons in the back. I didn't see details of ship-sized tractor beams in 2021, but that could be a team that's yet to be added. Keep up the stellar work. Thank you very much, sir. Very much appreciated. Do you think ship names selected now in Alpha will hold over to live? Oh, I don't know. I don't think so. Unless you have to put it on the website, which I wouldn't think you would. What a hell of a question. Is it possible to play Cyberpunk without exploiting? Seems now it's impossible to prevent. I don't think I exploited. Well, I discovered exploits and then immediately avoided them, like tranquilizer weapons seem to insta-kill everyone. After doing like a few shots of that, I went, oh no, well, but not use those. I did have a sniper rifle that was just popping people's heads with that did like 40,000 damage. When will the Vandal rework happen? When will the Glaive get love? So it looks like that's described as a enemy ship rework that's being worked on in 2021. So I'd expect to see it then. Dusk Till Dawn, RTTC, Merry Christmas, PG, thank you very much. Both Patrick Skelly and Dusk Till Dawn. Thank you very much for the monies. Very much appreciated. Oh, I do appreciate people chucking a load of money and donos and subs and stuff at me. That's very much appreciated. You monsters. An expanded gameplay for harvestables. So they talk more about harvestables and minables, or harvestables, in the forms of looting. There's a load of work going on to looting in 2021. So, yeah, expect to see more harvestables as well as part of that. What do I think will happen about secret potential ships that were leaked and that we talked about, which I don't want to overly throw in people's faces? It's possible that it was just not a thing. It's possible that it will be something that will be first quarter of 2021. I think it's likely we'll see a few new flyable ships in 2021 from patch to patch. They like straight to flyables. In the future, expect harvestables to also potentially be used in various processes and crafting and things like that as well. That's what I'm expecting. And for some harvestables to also be volatile cargo in some way. Do you believe Die Hard is a Christmas movie? Yes. It's clearly one of the best and cult classic Christmas movies. So, do you believe that Nightmare Before Christmas is a Halloween or a Christmas movie? It's both. And it works as both. And it's one of the most festive and holiday cheered films because it covers 2 holidays, right? Here's to that reverse psychology. Chucks more money at you. I know, right? Thank you very much, Patrick. You monster. Thank you. Will they expand the dining options or will we be eating burritos and hot dogs for years? Yes. Lots more types of food and food affecting you in different ways. Do you think we'll ever see the Starfarer refueling in 2021? It's not currently listed on the roadmap. The closest we had is they are redoing fuel scooping and getting that in game properly, and the way that works. Certainly could be a feature that they're planning to start revealing in January, and with more teams added though. New cave monsters. With new cave entrances. So, obviously, there's new cave entrances, and we do know they are working on creatures, some of which, like Goranta, I believe, will live in caves. I don't know when they're going to appear, though. Right! Lastly, when is the next Inside Star Citizen? 14th of January, I think? Question mark? Procedural cook... What do you mean by procedural cooking? Do you mean cooking? Procedural cooking suggests to me that I can make something entirely random and new every time I cook. In the read of the letter of the chairman, did you intend to reveal Chris Roberts' true lineage as Canadian? Yes, clearly. Well, he's sort of American and British, isn't he? That's Canadian, right? Question mark? Right. I'm going to dash off. I'm going to go host someone, and then we're going. Thank you very much for joining me today. Remember, a couple of things. Comment on any of my videos to be in for a chance of winning a Mercury Star Honor. So get involved with that. Good luck. Also, there are a couple of videos like my Chris Roberts chairman video that just for having a watch of that and commenting on that one, you also have a chance to win another ship. So with that one, for example, it's a chance to win a Talon, because I was like, this is a half an hour video. I'm going to reward people for watching that. So hopefully, like, I'm going to break down a lot of topics over the next few months in much more smaller bite-sized chunks. Not exactly in the same way as Nubify, because I want to have a little bit more context and talk a little bit more about stuff, but much more compartmentalized subjects. Bam, 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 bam. Pump them out, smaller, shorter videos. But also, some are going to be long-form videos as well. Some of them might be to support those other ones, but like when it's a big letter from the chairman or a big subject that CIG have talked about, I use almost entirely their words, even if it's a large video, because I'll do that in addition to other content. And also, I want to do some more gameplay and stuff like that as well. Let's go see who is streaming. But there's some exclusive videos as well that we're going live for my Patreons and my YouTube members, YouTube join members. Those people that have clicked on the join button and paid money to me because I love you. I'm not sure if the videos are ready or if they'll be ready in the next couple of days, but they'll be ready before the end of the month. Get a couple of videos out for that, for me and Zin and some of our plans. Also, me and Zin are planning a podcast, which will be largely Star Citizen orientated, and talk about our opinions on a lot of stuff. And you'll be able to go, oh, BoredGamer isn't as shilly as I thought. Though he does love the project, and he is beautiful, and we should give him all our money. Merry Christmas. I hope everyone does have a great New Year. Hope you had a good Christmas. Thank you very much for joining me today. We are gotta go host someone. Oh, we're gonna host Morph. Love a bit of Morphologist. Give the boy some love. He's a good chap. Right. I love you. Namaste. Merry Christmas. Happy New Year. Love you loads. Thanks for joining me today. Take care. Peace out. All the love in the world. And other stuff.